Hi, it's Mayor Walter Sendzik from the City of St. Catharines, and I want to thank you for joining us on another episode of Our Home with Mayor Sendzik. Now, I know we're in December, and we're looking for those unique gifts that you can give to someone on your list, and we've got a couple of guests today that I think you'll be able to check off a couple of those items. We have joining us from the Niagara River Lions, the new coach, Joe Rasso. And he's joined by the rookie, Connor Wood, who will be in the first season of the Niagara River Lions here. And of course, they are in their third season at the Meridian Centre. And wouldn't that make a wonderful gift, getting tickets to the River Lions, which is a great experience. And for 3 years now, fans have been coming out and really just embracing the River Lions. And following the discussion about the River Lions, we'll be joined by Tiffany Mayer, and she's a foodie and well-known Niagara Food blogger, and she has a new book out, the Niagara Food, A Flavourful History of the Peninsula's Bounty. So we look forward to talking to Tiffany. But first, Joe Rasso has 30 years of experience and excellence at every level of basketball in the world. At the National Basketball Association level, Joe Rasso is currently an advanced scout for the Denver Nuggets, the Atlanta Hawks, the Brooklyn Nets. He has also coached at the international level, and he is a Canadian national team assistant for 4 years. At the university level, those in the Hamilton area, those in the Hammer know him well. He has been the coach at McMaster University, the all-time winningest coach at McMaster. Congratulations on that. And one of the most successful coaches in Canadian sports history. Now, he has added head coach of the Niagara River Lions to his extensive resume. So, first, Joe, welcome to the community. I know we've talked previously, but welcome.
Thank you, Walter. It's great being here.
And it's exciting to see you take over the Niagara River Lions, and a lot of folks are looking forward to seeing what this season has in store under your leadership.
Well, I am too. It's a big move for us. It's a big move for me. It's my first venture into the pro ranks, but I'm excited. I think we've formed a team, a solid team. I think we filled in parts. We kind of had a training camp, and I dealt with it like a teacher would, like a coach would. I think the big step now is I'm just dealing with better overall players. But you still got to teach the game. You got to make sure that you do all the things that you have to do to put a team on the floor. So I'm excited about it. I think we've got a great venue to play in. I think we're going to play an exciting brand of basketball. And I like the guys on our team, and I think they're not only are they good players, I think they're good quality citizens, and they're going to add to this community. And so that part of it makes me feel real proud of it.
So when you look at putting a team together, and what's the difference between university ball and moving to a professional level in terms of the dynamics of a team and how you want to play within the National Basketball League?
Well, you start off, you're getting the top talent, and you get to form it. There's guys with different skill set, and in university you're recruiting athletes. Here you're still recruiting athletes, but right. Guys have to understand their roles. The big thing in the pros is that you got to play for something and play to win. Sometimes pros will play for numbers, their own personal numbers, and what you got to do is form a team where you can convince them that if we play to win, then everybody's going to have real good numbers. And I think that's the big thing. In college, it's always about winning. That part you don't have to really push. In college, you may have one or two go-to guys. Here, you've got a lot more. Right. And it's just bigger, faster, stronger. And the 48 minutes, it's a longer game. You've got another 8 minutes, from what guys are used to playing.
So that's an interesting difference, is that it's 8 minutes longer compared to, and people in our community would be familiar with watching the Brock Badgers play. And so that's Canadian university basketball. They come out to the River Lions, and there's an additional time period to it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's tough because all of a sudden now you've got to have a bench. And the rules in this league this year is that you have to have 5 Canadians on your team. And those 5 Canadians have to be 5 of the 12 dressed that night. So you've got to play. You got to play your bench.
Okay, so interesting, because I'm going to pivot to Connor. And Connor, you're from Guelph. I'm not going to hold that against you. Because I'm the mayor of St. Catharines. I have a great relationship with Cam Guthrie, the mayor of Guelph, and I will let him know that you were on my show. And hailing from Guelph, but you earned your stripes playing for the Carleton Ravens. And the best basketball program in Canada. 5-time national champion.
Yep.
So you've got 5 fingers and you've got rings for each one.
Yep. The last one's on the way.
And as well, you were U Sports Player of the Year, averaging 19.2 points a game, 4.5 rebounds, and 2.7 assists. Interesting numbers, right? Like it's
Great numbers.
A lot of players play for numbers, and at the university level, though, you play as a team, and it's a different experience. So you're coming in as a rookie, but you did go to Taipei, Taiwan, and you played in the William Jones Cup, and you won there with your Canadian team.
Yeah.
And it was the first time since 1996. So that was quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, it was a really fun tournament.
So you traveled abroad. So
yeah.
What was that like? What was that like going to another part of the world and representing the country and playing for a Canadian-based team?
It was amazing. It was nice to actually represent Canada and go there. They were super friendly people. Everyone was very nice, very upfront, being like, hey, could I get an autograph, trying to get some pictures, all that. And it was nice to, actually, that was my first kind of pro experience. So it was nice to go out there and get a little pro experience before I've come here to play with the River Lions.
So you're a rookie coming in. You know, if it's first season playing with the Niagara River Lions. And what did you know about the National Basketball League of Canada? What was were you aware of it when you were at the Ravens? Were you following along the development of the league?
I was aware of it when I was with the Ravens, and we were kind of seeing a little bit of it develop, but I didn't know too much just because I was really focused on the CIS. And obviously when we were with the Ravens, we were very focused with what we were doing, but I definitely saw it start to get better, and obviously talking to Joe, it's the reason why I came here.
Did you ever think that after graduation that you would move on to pro ball where you'd be getting paid for your service?
That was always my goal. So coming in, I really wanted to try and just play as long as I could for the highest league that I could. So I'm going to keep trying just to play basketball as long as I can.
So Joe, what was your attraction to Connor in terms of, hey, he's going to fit into this puzzle that I'm putting together here?
Well, the first thing is he's a winner.
True.
There's only a few people that could ever say they've won 5 national championships in 5 years. And not only that, he's been trained. He worked for Coach Dave Smart, who did a great job. And I knew what I was getting. And he's a very good basketball player. Now, you know, in context, we're lucky because he's a Canadian player. I don't think it would matter. Okay. His ability speaks for itself. He's a very good basketball player. And he's the foundation of what you want, because the strength of this team has to be your Canadians. And so I think, you know, Connor was very important to us in that matter. Getting him to come here instead of going to Europe was, I think, a big coup for our team and our league.
So what do you think, Connor, will be the biggest difference adjusting from university ball coming into this style of pro basketball? What do you think is going to be some of the areas that you're going to look at and go, huh?
Yeah. It'll probably just be more of the skill level, because on the other teams you knew who was going to be hurting you each and every night, whereas I'm not sure that'll be the case this time, because obviously everyone's able to play and like able to do things really well. So usually it's a couple guys here they have to key in on, that everyone zones up and figures it out there. But here it's a different system, so you always have to rotate and try and find who's hitting shots, who's getting hot, who's not, and then play accordingly.
So, and I think in terms of the local ball, you know, we got a good turnout to our Brock Badgers, but in terms of the Ravens, you guys must be playing in front of a larger crowd on a regular basis.
We play in front of a decent crowd. It's usually not, our biggest game is actually when we play Ottawa U, and that's when we get like a really big crowd, because we play in the Sendzik Stadium there. Yeah. But besides that, our crowd's usually just okay. Like we get a good crowd out that are just loyal and come to all the games. But
so for the River Lions, we get about 2,000, 2,500 out. You know, home opener would have a sellout of over 3,000. So it's going to be a different dynamic. And when you go to London, they fill up their arena there. So you're playing in front of a jacked up home crowd, and looking forward to that. I'm gonna assume be a bit different.
For sure. Yeah, I will. Whenever you play in front of home crowd, you just play off that energy. So everything's more energetic. It's just more fun.
So Joe, in terms of the expectation this year, and 3 years in, the River Lions, I gotta say, I go to the games. They're entertaining, fast paced, and a lot of movement, a lot of skill. In terms of making it, how far? Like, what's your goal for this year for the River Lions in the third year?
Well, I've always thought what attracted me to this team was I thought the management did a great job of putting on an event. Needed more W's. And so, you know, as I talk to the guys, it's about getting a little bit better every day. And, you know, the team that's at the end of the season, the team that's on the court's got to be better than the team that started in November. And our goal is to get better every day. Our goal, you know, we haven't made the playoffs here yet.
Right.
And that is definitely something that's on my checklist. But we want to be competitive every night too. I know that there's London's defending champions, and we've got them 7 times this year, so we got to make sure that we're prepared to go after them. And so I want to be competitive. I want to have an opportunity, but I want to get better. And I think we can do that, and hopefully with least amount of turnover and keeping the nucleus together, we will get better.
So in terms of your experience as a scout and looking at talent and putting teams together, was that a benefit to being able to put the River Lions together, knowing that you've got the sense, you've been at the university level, you've had great success at the university level, but just that one higher movement, be able to put a team together?
Yeah, it gives you a measurement of talent. Like, you know where your real good talent is at the university level, and then you got I constantly see NBA talent. And it tells me where guys are and how close they are to that.
Right.
And in this league, the talent is remarkable. I think people don't understand that, how close they are. We've got some incredible talented players, and a mixture of both Canadian, non-American, and non-Canadians. But the talent level in this league is outstanding. I hope that we as coaches can take our talent to meet the talent of the players,
right.
And then eventually, I think people will enjoy it. That's why I think you enjoy the games, but the talent is there.
Well, I think this year your TV, what you're watching today, your TV here in Niagara is going to be carrying some of the games for the first time, which is a benefit, because if you're actually in the Meridian Centre, it is an entertaining game, and so you get to feel that energy that comes from the court, and so hopefully on TV you'll get some of that and get more people to come out to the game on a regular basis.
I think it's great. I think every time you can introduce something new or get a new audience, that's great, because we've told our guys, first impressions everlasting. So our goal is to always make a great first impression on anybody who watches us for the first time.
So Connor, position you're playing?
Shooting guard, small forward.
Okay, again, shooting guard, small forward, and Connor's much taller than I am, so I could understand the small forward thing. Shooting guard, though, so in terms of personal goals you're setting for yourself this year?
Just help out the team as much as I can. Shoot open shots, get in the paint, find the open guy. Just wherever I can help, do that.
All right, so folks, I want you to pay attention. What's your number this year?
Number 11.
Ah, I'm number 11, so is okay, that's a little bit of a connection there.
I feel it.
Maybe I'll have to get a Connor Wood jersey, get number 11 on the back, put Wood on it. Looking forward to seeing you take the court. Joe, we're fortunate to have you as part of the River Lions. Your history in basketball is going to, I think, really take the River Lions to the next level. It is going to be an exciting season, and we're looking forward to much success. And I think we're going to make the playoffs. I think you got the talent there, clearly got the coaching, and we're looking forward to a good playoff run.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. If you're looking for more information, go to the Niagara River Lions website. You'll be able to look at all the different schedule for their games. Look forward to seeing it courtside. It is going to be an amazing year for the Niagara River Lions, and they do make a wonderful Christmas gift, guaranteed. So with that, thank you for being on the show, Connor and Joe, and we look forward to seeing you on the court through the year.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back to our home with Mayor Sendzik, where we're talking about some unique items that you can get for the holidays. We had the Niagara River Lions on, Joe and Connor, And now we're here to talk more about food and Niagara-based food. And none other than Tiffany Mayer, a local expert on food and farming in our community. She's been writing about it for 15 years. Those of you who read the Standard, the Tribune, Niagara Falls Review, you'll be very familiar with Tiffany Mayer. And she has a regular column as well as in the Hamilton Spectator. So she is well versed on food and farming in our community. And in 2014, she wrote her first book, which was a love letter to Niagara. It was called, and it is called, Niagara Food, A Flavorful History of the Peninsula's Bounty. And she's a proud resident of Niagara, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show during the holidays is because a lot of people focus on food during the holidays. So what better way to talk about the Niagara food movement and what's going on in our community, as well as maybe talk about some of the holiday recipes that you'll be looking forward to, and maybe you can help me out on some of my holiday recipes, okay?
For sure.
That's a deal.
I will do my best.
I wanna first talk about getting involved in farming and the foodie scene. You write a lot about it through your different columns. So what's your attraction to food and farming?
Well, it's actually a really long story that goes back to my time in journalism school in Saskatchewan, but that was a real sort of eye-opener for me in terms of the role that farming plays and the importance of farming and supporting local farmers, because at the time Saskatchewan was going through what was called the grain drain, where they were losing people. Basically, they were just walking away from their farms because they weren't able to make a living off of it. And that really inspired me to focus my journalism on agriculture. And I started off in Simcoe, which I kind of consider Niagara Junior. Yeah. And really sort of started focusing on eating local there, and then that really came to a head here in Niagara, where there was just so much more, and that's basically what it's been. I love writing about it. I didn't necessarily want to write for the farm press, but wanted to write for a daily in a city to basically remind people like me who didn't know at one point how important it is to support the people working our land.
So there's a lot we could talk about. We could talk about food security. We could talk about the 100-kilometer diet. We could talk about farm to table, and I think what for some of the folks who may not be familiar with your writing, how do you make that connection between the farm and the table? Give us some examples of how you draw those lines.
In my writing or in my personal life?
In both. Like I think your writing, what you do personally influences your writing.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Talk about it.
Definitely. I think it's just making the connections with the people who are growing the food. So in my writing, it's telling their stories and putting a face to it, right? And when you kind of become familiar with somebody and you start to feel like you know them, that relationship develops, and you want to continue supporting them in other ways. So that could be seeking them out at the farmer's market, or finding their products in some of the independent grocery stores that we have around here, or signing up for a CSA, which is Community Supported Agriculture. Okay. So that's basically like buying a share in a farm for the season and kind of riding the waves of the growing season, and getting a weekly basket of vegetables for 16 to 20 weeks a year. So
that unique gift item number one.
There you go. Yes.
How would someone, if someone wants to say that would be a really unique gift item, if you're looking for someone who has everything, or who's someone that you want to have more fresh fruit and vegetables in their life, how would you sign up for some of that?
Well, I have a list actually of farms that are doing the CSA here in Niagara. Okay. So it has all of their contact information, and that's on my website, which is timeforgrub.com.
Timeforgrub.com.
Yep, and you can basically reach out to them and find out all of the information. Most places have two sizes of shares, so you can get a smaller share or a larger share each week. They start basically, I guess, when the growing season starts, and they have something to harvest. So you kind of notice throughout the season your basket's getting heavier as things become more bountiful and there's more to harvest. And yeah, that is a really, really great gift.
Interesting.
Yeah, a really, really good gift, because I mean, it's not only supporting a local business and a local farmer and bringing fresh, good food to you. It really kind of gets the creative juices flowing in the kitchen too, when you are faced with a giant parsnip and you're not entirely sure what to do with it. And yeah, it's great. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to look into that because that would be something that I think it's a gift that keeps giving.
It is. That's right.
Well after the fact of Christmas is all
absolutely
packed up and gone away. Great. Now, want to talk a bit about the concept for your book, and described as a love letter to the Niagara food scene and what we're doing here. So why a book? What was the, I'm going to write something now that captures this? Tell me a bit about that process.
Well, it was basically requested by the publisher, so that started it. But yeah, I really do love Niagara. I mean, I'll be honest, when I took my job at the St. Catharines Standard in 2005, I had figured it was a stopgap to something else. I wasn't planning on staying, and I really fell in love with this area. And I love the people. It's beautiful. It's a great location. I mean, I could go on and gush about it. I live in North St. Catharines by the Welland Canal. I never get tired of hearing the boats and the engines and the horns. Like, there's nothing about Niagara that I really dislike at all. So when the opportunity arose to do that, it really seemed to bring together everything that I had been doing in my career and everything that I was doing as a hobby with the blogging about local food. And it was really just my way of thanking Niagara and being able to bring together the stories of the people I've met along the way who have made this such a great place to be.
Gift item number 2.
There you go.
Copy of your book. Now, how would I get a copy of your book? Or how would the viewers get a copy of the book? Where would they have to go to get a copy?
Yeah, sure. So local bookstores, any major bookstore would have it, or could order it in for you. Amazon.com, all the usual suspects.
So you hit one of those sites, look under Niagara Food, A Flavorful History of the Peninsula's Bounty. That would be perfectly gift wrapped for under. Does it have recipes in there? It
doesn't actually. It's a nonfiction sort of narrative, just telling stories of different chefs, farmers, some of the history of our food scene here, how we became a wine region and a culinary destination. So it's a quick read.
It's a quick read, but it's a biography of Niagara's food scene.
Kind of, yeah.
And where we are.
Yes, that's right.
Now, I'm going to pivot because I said the word recipes. And so we're heading into the holidays where a lot of people do baking. And so I want to talk a bit about what is your favorite, what do you see as like a Niagara holiday baking tradition that maybe you and your family would embark on? So it's, where everyone talks about ice wine as part of the holiday season. You got harvest of the ice wine. What is something that you would incorporate into your holiday dishes that would be Niagara based? I guess we'll start there.
Yeah, well, I'm part of a winter CSA too, so it's not just in the summer. So basically what I get in those boxes influences what's on the table. So at this time of year, truly there's not a lot that sets Niagara apart from other growing regions. I mean, we're eating a lot of squash and root vegetables and carrots and that kind of thing right now. I might turn to my freezer for some of the fruit that I froze over the summer for desserts, just to kind of get a taste of summer still, because I'm not the hugest winter fan. So that keeps me going and reminds me of what's coming and that kind of thing. So I'm vegetarian. That's going to disappoint some people, I'm sure. I don't have any big fancy turkey stories to tell, but I really love doing up like great dishes with beets, like a baked grated beet dish that I do with just a bit of brown sugar and vinegar. Squash dishes are wonderful, like really roasted squash with a bit of chili pepper and some maple. That's just really simple stuff like that is what I love. So
if you're, let's go pivot this way. If you're going through the St. Catharines Market downtown, it's December, and for those who may not see the market as that place where you're going to get fresh food in the December months or the winter months, what are you looking for? Like what are you looking for on the different tables there?
Yeah, well, I'm looking for what is in season. So Tom Neufeld, he's one of the vendors there. He's got great potatoes. The gentleman who's just across from him from Town and Country Farms in Pelham, he always has apples, and they're really great, and carrots as well, and squash. He's got a ton of stuff. Chez Nous Farms from Ridgeville, they are an organic farm. They often grow greens in the winter. They have a hoop house, so which is like an unheated greenhouse, so you can get something fresh that you know isn't a storage vegetable. So so those are the kinds of things that I would definitely be looking for when I'm at the market.
Now, I'm going to ask you baking wise. So you just like baking for cookies and stuff, because I want to talk. Do you have a favorite that, as a childhood memory of kind of Christmas? Like I think of rum balls.
Oh,
my mom used to make these rum balls, and whoo, they were. I don't know if they were for kids, but every once in a while we'd pop one and be like, "Well, that's a lot of rum there."
Wow.
So what do you remember in terms of a baking story?
Oh wow! My mom often made apple pie in the winter, a really good Dutch apple pie. But her baking, her sort of pièce de résistance when it came to baking was a plum cake.
Oh, wow.
So my parents are German, and they call it Zwetschgenkuchen, which is a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
And it's just simple crust, almost like a pizza based crust, and then just simply sliced plums on top of it and baked, and it's so good. You get the sweetness and the sourness of the plums, and this really great cake base. Like, I love it. It's my favorite. Whenever we go to Germany, if it's plum season, that is what I'm eating. Amazing. So yeah.
Well, you've given us some great ideas for gifts for the holidays. You've shined a light on the Niagara food scene and farming scene. You continue to be that voice that speaks about the importance of farming and making sure that we understand where our food comes from. So I want to thank you for what you're doing in our community. I want to congratulate you on your book, and hopefully the sales go through the roof after watching the show.
Yes.
And for those of you following at home, you've got some great gift ideas, whether it's the Niagara River Lions and Niagara River Lions swag, or if you're looking for the foodie on your list and you're looking for the new book by Tiffany Mayer, we have a lot of great talent in our community. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season with your family and friends, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year. Until then, have a happy new year and take care of yourself.